Now to a lawsuit former Governor Jesse Ventura filed 2 years ago accusing late Navy SEAL Chris Kyle of defaming him in Kyle's book, American Sniper. Fox 9's Iris Perez spoke to a First Amendment attorney today. And Iris, it sounds like this trial could end up with a landmark decision.
That's right, Jeff. It's an unusual case that pits the idea of famous people clearing their name against the idea they, by First Amendment right, are allowed more scrutiny in our society. What makes this case even more intriguing, though, is that the author being sued was killed last year.
This case really for Minnesota defamation law is extremely important. We haven't seen a case like this in Minnesota maybe ever.
First Amendment Attorney Steven Aggergaard expects the 10-person jury that will be chosen inside St. Paul's federal courthouse Tuesday will end up making a landmark decision in the case of Jesse Ventura and the late SEAL sniper Chris Kyle.
People in Minnesota and around the country know him. So it's an unusual trial.
The jury will decide whether or not what Kyle wrote about the former Minnesota governor in his best-selling book is false. The case centers around a 2-page subchapter in Kyle's American Sniper, an autobiography of the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history. The subchapter is titled Punching Out Scruff Face.
We're not talking necessarily about something that is ambiguous. We're talking about a question of whether Mr. Ventura was punched in the face, as I understand it. People usually know whether they're punched in the face or not, and that's what makes this situation somewhat different.
Witnesses are expected to testify on both sides. Bear in mind, Kyle was killed in an unrelated incident last year.
Mr. Ventura can't call him as a witness before the jury.
Kyle's widow, Taya, will stand as the defendant as she oversees his estate, which could make Ventura's defamation claim even harder to prove than it already is.
A different set of rules applies to public figures. Public figures need to prove defamation. They need to prove falsity with reckless disregard for the truth, or that the person who wrote about Mr. Ventura just plain made it up.
And most importantly, Ventura has to prove actual malice was at play in those 2 pages.
The other side for Mr. Ventura are going to be hitting home and hammering home the idea that this is Mr. Ventura's case to prove.
We did reach out to Ventura's attorney, but he declined to comment. Instead, he simply said he'd love to talk when the trial is over. Both sides meet in St. Paul federal court tomorrow, and the trial is expected to last more than 2 weeks.